Welcome to the MAK One ground warfare demonstration. I'm Len Granewetter, MAK CTO, here in our lab in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Whether your goals are training, experimentation, or course of action analysis, the MAK One platform provides a complete synthetic environment that can execute complex battlefield scenarios in any domain. You'll be seeing most of the action here on the VR Forces GUI screen, where Greg is acting as the instructor operator. But we have several role player and trainee stations throughout the lab, based on our VR Engage multi-role virtual simulator. Catherine will be driving a Bradley. Karen will be playing the role of a forward observer, but will also switch to play the role of a gunner on Catherine's vehicle. Stephen will be controlling a sensor pod on a UAV, and Ben will be piloting an attack aircraft. A mixed reality station is also available. Let's get started.
Scenario briefing. This is a battalion-level scenario located at the National Training Center, Fort Irwin, California. It shows an armored cavalry squadron attacking west toward Nelson Lake against a reinforced mechanized company. The attack occurs in 3 phases, beginning east of Junction City in the Central Corridor. Task Force 152 is conducting the attack. First, Task Force 152 and the Regimental Cavalry will fix enemy forces in Junction City. Then Task Force 152 will bypass south of Junction City in a movement to contact to its attack position at the washboard. From there, Task Force 152 will attack towards the objective at Nelson Lake. Charlie Troop will guard the main force during the bypass. The main force consists of tank and mechanized troops, a mortar platoon, forward support unit, and a platoon providing rear security. Squadron scouts are conducting route reconnaissance toward the washboard. Where we can see the enemy vehicles defending. Task Force 152 is supported by regimental artillery. Forward observers are watching from high points east of Junction City and from Brigade Hill in the south. Regimental cavalry maintains overwatch from positions on the northern side of Junction City. Above, an RQ-7 Shadow provides aerial surveillance. The enemy consists of a platoon-sized irregular force in Junction City and a reinforced mechanized company in the washboard. On the north side of Junction City we find insurgents and a technical truck with a heavy machine gun. To the east there is a technical truck with a mortar and fighters with small arms and rocket-propelled grenades. To the south there is a BMP and insurgents with small arms. A reinforced mechanized company is defending to the west in the washboard. A mechanized platoon is the first line of defense, occupying positions on the north side of the Colorado Wadi. The second line is a mechanized platoon supported by an anti-tank section. A third platoon defends from the Matterhorn. A platoon of mortars is in support along with a supply platoon. A battery of artillery is in support from Nelson Lake. The operation begins with the bypass of Junction City. We start the action before dawn. There is insurgent activity on the northern side of town. In Overwatch, regimental cavalry needs a better look. Viper calls for illumination from the forward observer post. An M109 Paladin fires a round of illumination. Viper watches the illumination pop over Junction City. Regimental cavalry gets a better look, but the insurgents scatter. The insurgents duck down an alley and emerge from the other side. They make a run for the desert. Friendly forces must contain the insurgents. Viper calls for a just fire on a pre-planned target to block their escape. An artillery round impacts the target. The insurgents divert. The insurgents take cover and fire on Viper's position. Viper adjusts fire to their location and fires for effect. Regimental cavalry and Overwatch engage the technical. Artillery rounds impact the insurgents' position. The threat against Viper is eliminated. The insurgent mortar retaliates. Mortar rounds land near Viper's position. Viper responds with a fire mission. An M109 Paladin fires a single Excalibur round. The enemy mortar is destroyed. Now we turn our attention to the south for the bypass. 1st Platoon, Charlie Troop, sets up its guard position. First Platoon spots a BMP tucked in among the buildings. The BMP threatens the march column. An M1 tank destroys the BMP. An M2 Bradley engages the insurgents. Task Force 152 attacks west to the washboard and gains its attack position. Squadron mortars lay in a smokescreen. Second Platoon, Charlie Troop, destroys a T-80. 1st Platoon, Alpha Troop, destroys a BMP. Second Platoon, Charlie Troop, performs an attack by fire task, while 1st Platoon, Alpha Troop, does support by fire. Second Platoon, Alpha Troop, crosses Colorado Wadi. Enemy artillery fires scatterable mines to block the road toward Nelson Lake. Their plan is to turn Task Force 152 west, canalize them along Colorado Wadi, then reduce the attacking force with artillery, direct fire, and anti-tank guided missiles. Second Platoon, Alpha Troop, must avoid getting hung up in the minefield. 1st Platoon, Charlie Troop, presses forward to gain the south bank of the Wadi. Alpha Troop calls for fire on an enemy defensive position dominating Colorado Wadi. Task Force 152 gets help from Apache helicopters. An A-10 strafing run attacks into the middle defenders. An unmanned aerial vehicle locates the enemy artillery. An airstrike is called. Friendly aircraft destroy the artillery.